Hello and welcome to the very first edition of That Xbox Show, where we'll be bringing you the latest in previews and reviews, and also looking at the community and culture of the gaming landscape.
Coming up in this episode, we're going to have this. This.
It used to be Chinese, but it's definitely Indian now, you know? Talking food, right?
And this. But definitely none of this. Get in the mongoose, ya tit. Alright, maybe a little bit of that.
Anyway, enjoy the show!
When the first screens and videos emerged of the new Devil May Cry Reboot, there was, to put it mildly, a bit of a backlash from the fans of the series. Capcom were handing the reins over to Ninja Theory, the studio known for its flashy but not entirely deep action games, and to top it off, they were giving the game's protagonist Dante an emo haircut and a pack of cigarettes. But as the internet melted in vitriolic fervour over which demon slaying poser was cooler, Capcom was quick to assure its fans that the tried and tested combat of the series would remain intact. So with the recent release of the first public demo, fans can finally see if their initial fears were justified. Graphically, the game looks even prettier than Ninja Theory's previous title, Enslaved Odyssey to the West, and blows Devil May Cry 4's bland colour palette out of the water. Its hyper-stylised, pastel-coloured city and detailed characters all add up to a truly aesthetically pleasing game. Ninja Theory is a studio that's known for its passion for telling stories, and their dynamic and well-performed cutscenes help bring this alternate timeline of the series to life. Our hero Dante, the offspring of a demon and an angel, is called upon by a group called the Order to join them in a fight against a demonic conspiracy that seeks to enslave mankind. Naturally, with melodrama in full force here, the leader of the Order just so happens to be his estranged and ever so elegant twin brother, Virgil. The humorous and technically accomplished storytelling serves as great motivation and never impinges on the core experience of hacking demons to bits. And this is where fans should sigh relief. After a few minutes of playing the game, you realise that the reboot retains the fluid, visceral and honed action that's made the series so popular, while also taking significant steps to refine its weapons and combo system. Aerial combinations are now a healthy part of the demonic exchanges, with grapples and scorpion-like pulls whilst in mid-air making up a large part of the fun. Standard combos are still part and parcel of the experience, but they are now energised with a quick switch weapon mechanic that is easily weaved in mid-combination. Exploration is still borne out through platforming sections, and this annoyingly is the least enjoyable part of the experience. The almost infamous Devil May Cry camera rears its ugly head to throw you the odd curveball or two, and you'll soon realise that while Dante may be able to zip seamlessly between enemies, juggling their bodies with flair, his ability to jump between stationary platforms leaves a lot to be desired. Despite that, however, it does little to lessen the enjoyment to be had here. It remains to be seen whether the full game can balance the progression of skill, story and combat as the demo suggests, but for now, Capcom and Ninja Theory look like they've kept their word and delivered not just a competent Devil May Cry game, but something that adds up to make for a more intense and even faster paced, seamless beat-em-up experience. And that, not an emo haircut or a moody face, is something to get excited about.
And so she said, I'll have one more helping!
One more helping? Oh, do you fancy playing some Halo on Xbox Live?
I've never played online before. I don't know.
What? All the more reason for trying there. Here, put it on.
Alright. So these are real people from all over the world?
Yeah.
Oh, they heard that! Which button is it to fire? Is it... I don't think you even know my mum.
Flank assassination. First strike.
This thing's just full of homophobic, racist Americans who all say they've shagged my mum.
Get in the mongoose, ya tit.
Aye.
So my name is Graeme Boyd, my Xbox Live gamer tag is AceyBongos, and that's me on Twitter as well, which I use tons, so yeah, if you can follow me on Twitter, I'd love that. And I am social market manager for Xbox in EMEA, which is one of those horrible acronyms or initialisms, I'm never sure which one, which means Europe, Middle East and Africa. So basically I work with the EMEA marketing team based in Reading in the UK, and we work with all the local Xbox teams right across Europe, a couple in the Middle East and in Africa as well. And my role is to look after social marketing and community. The Xbox community is so passionate and vocal. So that means there's quite a lot of challenges in trying to work with that community, but it's also the most amazing things about working with that community. You know that you will get exactly what people think and what they feel, and often, because it's such an informed community as well, those are very considered opinions as well, and very knowledgeable and very intelligent opinions. Them both equally. There's a place in my heart for both Halo and Call of Duty. FIFA. Used to be Pro Evo, but FIFA now, yeah. Strawberry. Kinect Sports. Controller. It used to be Chinese, but it's definitely Indian now, you know? Talking food, right? Shotgun. Up close and personal. Red. Aberdeen. Next Xbox. No idea what you're talking about. You've been reading something on the internet or something?
You know what this is? This is a sealed game, an unopened video game. I haven't even held the disc in my hand yet. But it's more than that, it's potential. The optimist in me says that this might be the best video game ever made, that this could become my new favourite video game. It doesn't matter what you've heard or what Metacritic tells you it's like, until you've played it for yourself, this game could be incredible. You know, it's actually a shame to open it because right now, in this moment, this game can be anything I want it to be. Aye, no, it's shite. Only going to play it 2-3 months tops till Gears comes out. I think during most people's lives, they'll all eventually have that one holiday where they just wish they'd stayed at home. Just stayed at home, put on the slippers or a favourite onesie, and instead of worrying about sunscreen or dodgy tap water, played a game like Far Cry 3. It's a thought you can imagine Far Cry 3's protagonist Jason Brody having in the game's opening moments as his drink-fueled extreme sports holiday is brought to an abrupt end by vicious pirates. And it's not as if Jason seems ready for the adventure ahead either. We see his nervous, quivering hands and hear his unsure voice, a deliberately stark contrast to the sure-headed, muscle-bound ex-army character you follow in the game's opening moments. It's an interesting character setup, however, as the game progresses, it never really follows through. As soon as you're let loose in your first proper mission, you'll see that Jason, this person who claims to have never fired a gun before, would be right at home in an action scene from Rambo. There is a rather loose narrative explanation for Jason's newfound powers. However, it does little to settle the odds you feel between character and gameplay in the game's opening hours. In the end though, this is something you'll either forgive or just completely forget, because you'll be far too busy exploring one of the most fun environments gamers have been given in recent years. The Rook Islands present you with many different challenges, from speed races across the tropical terrain to hunting wild animals, but often the most satisfying for the player are the enemy checkpoints. These represent by far the purest example of Far Cry 3's open-ended approach to enemy encounters. Do you run in throwing Molotov cocktails, spreading panic throughout the camp before catching the guards up close with a shotgun? Or do you perch on the hillside, far away, tagging each guard with your camera before carefully sneaking into camp to silently dispatch your foes? Or maybe you'll just release a caged tiger and watch it tear the face off everyone in camp. Whatever your approach, there's a truly surprising amount of variety to be had in these encounters, and they're often the best place to test out your upgraded skill set as the game progresses. These upgrades are unlocked by gaining XP, which you'll get from doing pretty much anything on the island, so they come pretty regularly and without much effort. And while there are a few exceptions, the upgrades can at times feel pretty superfluous. You start off as a pretty good killing machine, and end as a pretty good and flashy killing machine. That's not to say that this is unwelcome. Games like Batman Arkham Asylum showed that fluid and flashy combat can go a long way towards making the player feel empowered, and that's certainly true of Far Cry 3 as well. Another light RPG mechanic that Far Cry 3 employs is the crafting system. This encourages you to go off into the wilderness to hunt for the menagerie of wild animals, kill them and skin them. In return, you'll be able to carry more weapons or more money. It's a system that's never really fully utilised, or given much importance, as I made it through the first half of the game with just one weapon slot, and can't ever recall having to spend money apart from playing poker in one of the main missions. However, choosing to go off-road and after the island animals is often the best way to appreciate the amazing visual detail of the lush tropical setting. The scale and detail in Far Cry 3 is often truly staggering, and you'll find yourself pausing to simply appreciate the various vistas within the game. There are some minor issues with pop-in and texture loading, but these are infrequent enough to forgive. The game features some absolutely brilliant performances from the various characters you'll encounter throughout the main narrative, with the insane pirate Vass a particular highlight, and these performances do a great job of engaging you with the story. However, the story does have its problems.
By the way, this lighter really sucks.
While I realise that the main character is supposed to be struggling with what he has to do versus the person that he is, and we are seeing this semi-descent into madness, it still doesn't fully explain some of his behaviour. And it comes off as ultimately unlikable, and without spoiling anything, his story concludes rather weakly. But while the main narrative might not be everything you'd hope, you'll be creating your own stories on every mission, exploiting the dynamic nature of the world that Far Cry 3 offers. And what about multiplayer? Well, it's there, with the range of competitive game types that you'd come to expect of a modern shooter, and there's 4-player co-op too. But neither of these are truly up to the task of taking on the competitors, or even the single-player component of the game. So at best, they're distractions for an afternoon if you're really bored, and not a reason to buy the game. The true draw is the single-player. Far Cry 3 is a game where you can lose hours simply having fun driving quads, exploring old ruins, or hunting tigers. It's a game of action, of stealth, and of moments you'll want to tell your friends about. And that's Far Cry 3's greatest strength, the freedom it gives you to make choices that you feel involved in. Ubisoft might be the studio that made the game, but you're the one that's going to bring it to life.